Welcome back to Spartan Up, the podcast. We are in beautiful Squaw Valley, Lake Tahoe for our World Championships. This interview was, in fact, at West Point. And if you guys lack discipline in your life, then Melissa Solomon, who was Drill Sergeant of the Year, she'll show you how it's done, won't she, Joe?
She shook me up.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
She came at me hard because I always wondered, I was not in the military, what it would be like to have somebody just on you, and would it get you moving, or would you freeze up? The reason we do this, and the reason we find guests like this, we want to find amazing people. She was Drill Sergeant of the Year. We find moms, we find monks, we find mobsters, business people that can impart their wisdom on us. Maybe we only take a nugget from them, implant it in your own life, and you become better.
We get better every week, too. We got Sefra Alexandra.
My twin brothers,
Joey D.
Sefra is full of natural knowledge and brings it into every episode.
Totally
we got
natural.
Joe DeSena, who is the founder and CEO of Spartan Race. We got Joe DI, who is one of the brains behind Spartan Race. You're the director of sport and coach extraordinaire. And I'm Dr. Johnny, who's not a doctor. And we are going to be back after the interview because what we do is we talk about what we learned from it and how you can apply that in your life.
And this team is really doing a lot of work for people right now. This show, the Spartan Up podcast, is released every Tuesday. There's also an episode on Wednesday with Dr. L, on Thursday with Zach Evan Esch, and an upcoming athlete interview segment with Kevin Gelati on Fridays. So Joe and the team have got you covered.
We just need Saturday, Sunday, Monday, which is coming.
This episode of Spartan Up is brought to you by Athletic Greens. Ensure your body gets the nutrition it needs. Athletic Greens has an offer just for our listeners. Go to athleticgreens.com/Spartan to get a free box of 20 travel packets with your order, a $100 value.
How to sit, you need to sit up, back straight, feet together, hands are on your thighs. No smiling. I'm not your friend. I'm not your mother. Don't smile at me. I am your drill sergeant.
I thought I was tough around the house. You are all business. All right, we are here for Spartan Up Podcast with scary First Sergeant Melissa Solomon, who will get you to do it. I mean, that was great. Like, I smiled and we were joking, and then all of a sudden it was like, no, we're not joking anymore. We're at West Point right now, by the way. I want to let them know. We're doing a bunch of these podcasts, and you are Drill Sergeant of the Year. You are Drill Sergeant of the Year, and you do this for a living.
Yes. So during my time as a drill sergeant, I did do this. I did it at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Yeah. I also taught other people how to become drill sergeants, and that's actually when I won Drill Sergeant of the Year.
I thought I was a drill sergeant, but I can't hold a candle to you. That was unbelievable. You just went right, you just went right into it.
I mean, soldiers sit like that, or people who want to become soldiers sit like that.
How do you? How long could you go for? Like, could you scream like that for hours?
I could, but I'm a firm believer if I have to scream that long, then I'm probably not doing something right as my job. Like, there's something in the instructions that I've given you, I haven't given you the resources to be successful, so I need to regroup and rethink about that.
And I was at a class at university years ago where I forget his name. It was the 1 Minute Manager for the life of me. I can't remember the author's name. But he said whenever you start out a new relationship with somebody, like employee-employer relationship, any relationship, you start out firm. And so do you find when you start out, I assume you start screaming. If I was a new recruit and I'm in for the first day, right? That's how you start. Do you have to do that less and less over time?
If you're doing your job correctly, yes. Right. Definitely.
Because it sets a standard right away that
yes.
I'm the alpha.
Exactly.
Right? And how do you can you tell right away, like, if I was a good recruit or not in those first few minutes? How long does it take to figure out, oh, this guy's a disaster?
Oh, so in the beginning, we do various things. We'll give you a task that we know you're probably not going to be successful at just because it's your first day in the military. And we see, do you quit? Do you find another way to do it that maybe we didn't even think was possible to accomplish that task? And those are usually your star soldiers throughout the training cycle for that year.
Star soldiers because they figured out another way or because they just didn't quit?
Both.
Got it.
Because if you're finding another way, you didn't quit then.
What percentage of people would quit in those moments?
Initially, usually about 1/3,
really?
will say, I can't do that. I don't know what they want us to do. They're setting us up for failure or various things like that. But as time goes on, they kind of see the method to the madness, and they understand, and they think back to that first day. It was like, man, there's about 5 different things I could have did that day to be successful.
Got it. And then they start quitting less. And so is your job, you bring them right to the brink of failure and then kind of pull back a little bit? Or do you want them to fail, or like?
We want them to, I would say, just do it the way that we need them to do it would be the best way. And for some people, they get it right away. Some people are just like natural sponges, and they soak it up, and they're very coachable and teachable. Yep. And then some aren't. We do test them to their limits. Obviously, for most of them, they come up in the video game world, so they're used to hanging out at the house on the couch and all that. So just the bare minimum, making them walk everywhere is a tough one. Exactly, it's stress for them. They can't eat what they want to eat. They're eating things that will actually help them fuel their body to perform well. Vegetables, things like that. Yeah. So I honestly feel like it's those little comforts that they don't have at home that really cause them the most stress. Starts
to break them. And how long does it take to shake all those? Like I like to say, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I would imagine a baby is the most resilient because it hasn't been influenced yet by, right? And then they get weaker and softer and weaker and softer. And so how long does it take to get back to like core resilience that a human being should have? Is it a week, a month, a year?
For me personally, I usually start to see it around the 4th or 5th week of basic training that they've been there. It's just like you can kind of see like them.
Transformation taking place.
And it's all coming together. It's all sinking in what we're trying to get them to, accomplish. They can see the end goal. It's not about the fact that I can't go, talk to my friends or I can't do this. Like it's all about the teamwork, their battle buddy to their left and their right, and just being successful in the mission.
Nice. And how many completely quit? Like, what percentage of people just tap out completely?
I don't know that figure. I can only speak to
in front of you.
I'd say maybe 5 to 10% of the formation. They don't make it for various reasons.
Do they regret it?
Yes, I've had
almost always, right?
I believe so. I've had some. They didn't become soldiers, so I'll just call them citizens that weren't successful. They found me on Facebook and stuff like that, and they say, I wish I'd have just kept going, Drill Sergeant. Yeah. I wish I would have just, ran a little bit harder or paid attention a little bit more and shot well and been able to graduate basic training. My life would be very different.
I think about that a lot, right? Because everybody thinks I'm relentless, and I am. I want the kids to do math every day, not 4 days a week, not 6 days, 7 days a week, right? And what I think about is that's the difference between success in life and failure. Like if you're spending any moment not doing something getting you closer to your goal, you're wasting time. I would imagine you agree with that.
I definitely agree. I'm all about just not wasting potential, whether it's potential of a person or potential of time. I'm always stressing that to my soldiers now, like, how can we do this better? How can we be more efficient? How can we, prepare the soldiers that are going to come after us to be successful and carry on?
Yeah, and so then I say to myself, I've never heard a person say, gee, I wish I ate more ice cream last night. Gee, I wish I drank more alcohol yet, right? Like, you always hear what you said, which was them saying, I wish I would have stayed in and worked harder. And so if we know that everybody, 99.9% of people are going to say, then we should just stick with it.
And we try to find that. We try to find what internally motivates that soldier. For some, it's being able to provide for their family. For some, it's, the education opportunities that the Army Reserve offers. For just all the things that you can get.
Oh, so if I just came in when you were screaming at me, you already know what my reason for being here is.
I make them write an essay. Why they joined the Army, so I can understand. So that when it's in those moments when they're, don't want to do that next push-up or don't want to run that next mile or whatever,
you could draw that out.
Exactly.
You could say to me, hey Joe, your purpose here was this. Mm-hmm. So are we going for that? Right. And most people get back on track when you bring that out. That's smart. That's really smart. What are you doing now?
I am a first sergeant now. I'm actually getting ready to leave my current position. I'm going to the NCO Academy. It's where we teach very junior leaders how to become better, more successful leaders for the future.
Any tips and tricks we could give the audience on, here's what I get a lot of. I get a lot of emails that say, Joe, I'm just not motivated. I just can't seem to get going. It looks really easy for you. Easy for me. I've been 18 years I've been trying to build this business.
Yes.
Right? 18-year overnight success. So what you've been doing this a long time. You've seen a lot of people come through. What little tips and tricks?
First thing I say is surround yourself with people who have what you want. Surround yourself with other people who are go-getters, who are naturally motivated. And I think when you're in that type of environment, it just brings the best out of you. At least it does for me.
So I've heard you're an average of your 5 best friends.
Yes.
Right? So
you're the dumbest person in the room.
Yeah, you want to have friends pulling you up.
Yes.
All right, so that's number one.
Number one. The next thing, I'm very purposeful. Like, I write down what I want, and I am strategic with it. I'm not just like, I want to lose 5 pounds, for an example. No, I want to lose 5 pounds by this date, and I'm going to do it by every month losing this amount. Or, just
very detailed, very specific on what you're going to do.
Exactly.
And then do you review it each day, or?
I wouldn't say review it each day, because that can become frustrating, because you're going to have your ups, and nobody's perfect 100% of the time.
Sure.
So I like to review it once a month. I think is a good time to check your progress. And then, as well as, make sure that you have the tools to be successful. Like, for example, if you're trying to lose weight, don't make going to the gym something that's complicated. Make sure that you have everything that you need. Like, your clothes are always in your car. You have that snack or whatever. You have extra sets of headphones, so that when Murphy gets...
Remove the excuses.
Exactly.
It's funny you bring that one up, because we're working with the Army now. We were talking about it before you started screaming at me. And it was this idea that let's make it really simple for all these new... cadets, what do you call somebody new that comes in?
Recruits or cadets.
A new cadet or a new recruit to exercise and to train, right?
Yes.
Because if you've got all these excuses and obstacles in the way, then they'll come up with reasons as to why they can't do it. And it doesn't have to be expensive.
It doesn't.
Right? Like you don't know this, but right outside this cabin this morning, the crew was late for the meeting. So there was 15 minutes we had. And so I said to Erica, we got 15 minutes. We can do 300 burpees. Well, we should show some video right now of what transpired in those 15 minutes. It was ugly. But anyway, so let's recap those. So the first one is surround yourself with great people. I've also heard build a personal board of directors.
Yes.
So not only surround yourself with some great friends, but find people that are older, smarter, more successful, right? Everybody's willing to help.
Yes.
Ask. Number 2 is be really clear and define your goals and write them down. Journal, right? And review them monthly. And what was number 3? Refresh my memory on number 3.
Remove the excuses.
Remove the excuses. So I think those are big ones. Why don't we take a break and we'll go knock out 300 burpees.
Okay.
And you could scream at me the whole time. and we'll come back.
All right.
All right. So should I just start?
Go ahead and start. All right. Is that how you do a push-up, though? Go all the way down. Chest to the floor. That's only 3. No, I'm not counting that one either.
Is that acceptable?
Not for me. It's not acceptable.
She's laughing. Start screaming. Let's go.
Hey, Spartan Podcast. We are here at the top of the gondola in Morzine, France. One of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in my life. And I think we're really lucky in the podcast. We get to go to amazing places all over the world, and we get amazing partners like Athletic Greens.
Yeah, no, we couldn't be any more blessed, right?
And friends like you guys.
Yeah, well, community.
Community.
The Spartan community.
Like a community of plants. And that's what's in our Athletic Greens. A community
and that's
of
why
plants.
you're here. That's beautiful. Talk to us about it.
Well, I don't know if you guys know what like dandelion is or burdock or chlorella and spirulina and reishi. And it's basically creating an edible forest of goodness for your belly, which is what we like to do. So we can go run around these edible forests of goodness.
So this is good for your digestion?
It's good for your digestion. It's good for your brain. It's good for your heart. It's good for your relationships.
And clearly
it'll bring you love and luck.
So you forage all over the world. I don't. I go to my fridge. But this has been foraged for us. I mean, it's 75 ingredients, all raw, natural, sourced from all over the world. The stuff that I'm just not going to get in my day-to-day diet.
True.
And this is good for anybody.
100%.
Right? This is good for athletes. So all the Spartans up here.
Yeah.
This is good for people of my age.
Sure.
This is good. You can give it to kids. You can
like
give it to
Sefra.
anybody.
See, this is even, look at that dog. This is even fast food. This is like fast food fuel.
We get busy, right? You got to jump in the
on
cab.
Horseback.
You got to jump in the cab. You didn't have breakfast. You tear this open. You've got your water. You pour it in. It really is the most portable thing I've ever had.
I was going to say mobile, portable, same thing.
Yeah.
It's good
and
stuff.
and to be honest, like we'll wrap this up here, but like it's one of those green juices that doesn't give you a bellyache because sometimes when it's all packed, like you just feel good.
I just
you
wanna-
feel ready to run around the loop in fields of Morzine.
I just want to say I was being honest the whole time.
Yeah, I didn't need
I'm always honest.
Need the caveat.
All right, athletic greens. Yum.
You killed me with those burpees. Screaming and doing the burpees. You've got tremendous lung capacity. That was unbelievable. Tell me about this the Army Reserve Master Fitness course. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, well, it's actually the Army Master Fitness course.
Okay.
So it's a course where we basically want to create little personal trainers in the companies where the soldiers are actually, working every single day to get them to perform most optimally for what their job requires. So we give them the tools. We talk to them about, performance nutrition, how to properly write a program, sleep, all the things that are essential to just performing very well, whether it's, out here doing a Spartan race or whether it's, overseas in a deployment.
I was shocked at how little people know about optimal fitness and what how to eat, and so there are tons of these coaches then throughout all the companies. And
yes, the Army would like to have one in every company, so that would be one for about every 150 soldiers.
Right, and then you can lean on that coach and say, hey, coach, I'm having a problem here, or I'm feeling some injuries, or I'm not performing at the best I can.
And they can advise the leaders of those companies, so that first sergeant of that company or that company commander, so that when they design that PT program, it's just not what you love to do or what I love to do. It's really what's going to help their soldiers perform the best.
How many recruits or cadets that come in like a little sloppy, like they're not in the best shape, like you said, they love video games, and then you see is it a large percentage transform?
Yes. So there is a minimum, or I guess I should say a maximum weight that they can be before joining. So if they're too overweight, they have to safely lose weight before they come see us. Yeah. But once they come see us, yes, they're not in the best of shape. And then just that time, just removing, those refined sugars and the sodas and all that business, and then just making them be active every single day. It's just crazy. Oftentimes, we fit them for their dress uniform that they're going to graduate in the beginning, and sometimes we have to go back and get it altered multiple times because they've just shrunk so much.
And do you always, I would imagine you always hear that. That's a huge benefit to joining the Army.
Yes.
Right? It's like going to Biggest Loser camp in some ways.
Getting paid to do it.
And getting paid to do it.
Yes.
Tell me what it did for you. Like, where'd you come from and how'd you get into this?
Oh, why I joined the military?
Yeah. And then what you must have went through something if you were seeking this.
Yes. So my decision to join the military was that I didn't come from, a lot of money. I was a single parent and all of that. And I just didn't want to start my life out owing money. So I joined for the college benefits.
Nice.
I joined the Army Reserve. I was trained to be a...
But did your parents push you, or you were smart?
No, I was the only one.
So you were smart enough back then to say, you know what, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, and my mom, she was very big on nobody owes you anything. Nobody's going to ever give you anything. So if you want it, you just got to go out there and get it. And that led me to that recruiter, which led me to join the military, and it was great. They trained.
You went there alone. You walked into that
alone
office by yourself.
She had no idea.
Right.
And until he came to the house and he sat down and he talked to her.
How hard of a you're sitting at home, not just you, but like anybody that does this, right? That's a pretty big step to take. Like, I'm going to go see that recruiter, because you don't come back.
No.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, you're walking out the door for good, kind of.
Yes, because I was joining the Army Reserve, she knew I was coming back home.
Right. No, but I mean figuratively, like,
yes.
Like you're going in.
Yes.
It's a one-way road.
My mom was really proud from the beginning. She just was 100% supportive. She came to every graduation, every accomplishment that I ever had, until she passed away. And that's probably when I have big moments, that's the biggest thing. I look out there and I just wish that she was there.
Sure. So you go in, you sign your life away, and you're in. And then when did you immediately get in there and it was like, this is me?
Not immediately. Probably towards the end of because the Army trained me to be a licensed practical nurse. So towards the end of that training, I realized I really love this. I really love what the Army is about. I love the culture. Yes, I joined for the college money, but it's so much more than that. The people that I've met, the experiences that I have, the opportunities. I just don't feel like if I hadn't made the decision to join the Army Reserve that I would have never.
Your whole life would have been completely
just very different.
You wouldn't have screamed like you just screamed at me.
No, I would not have.
No, that's awesome. I mean, you find purpose, right? And they say, and I believe it, like all the magic happens when you're outside your comfort zone, and going from whatever your life was to this, it was completely out of your comfort zone. So that's where the magic happened.
And just feeling like you're a part of something bigger than just you.
Yeah. And then, how old is your child?
I don't have any kids.
Oh, okay. Your mom was a single parent.
Yes.
Right. Got it. Yeah. Tell me about this. What is it? It's Army Resilience Training. What is it?
It's the Master Resiliency Training course. It's a course that I went through a few years back, and it gave me tools that, when just things aren't going your way, that you don't quit, that you find another way, that you draw on strengths that you have to help you accomplish that, or you problem solve. They just give you a lot of skills. But the thing that I actually liked about it the most is that, yes, I was able to apply it as a soldier, as a leader, but I was also able to apply it in my personal life. It made me a better sister. It made me a better daughter. It made me a better friend to everyone in my life. And I could see, like, oh, okay, this person kind of does this. This is how I can best deal with this.
So it teaches you clues that you'll see in life, and then how to react to them, basically.
Yes, in a productive manner.
In a productive manner, because we're going to face obstacles all day, every day.
Yes.
And it's how we react to them that matters. I'm thinking, as you're talking about it, I'm thinking about, like, Raiders of the Lost Ark or something, right? Where you see these actors and actresses larger than life, Laura Croft, right? Mm-hmm. And they don't have any choice. Mm-hmm. And they get through it. And that's the way we're supposed to attack. I mean, that's what you learn, I guess, in resiliency training, right? Like, just deal with it.
It just teaches, people have a habit, I think, when things happen that are bad, they'll start to spiral out of control. Like, they will take the thing that's maybe not that bad and just make it to so much bigger. And sometimes you just got to let them do that so it can, like, shock them back to reality. Like, it's not that bad. You will get through it,
Somebody said something really smart to me. They said, if you were to chart an obstacle, any obstacle in life, right? And let's say it was a bar chart. So the actual challenge, the actual obstacle is only this big, let's say 1 inch. Mm-hmm. When you start thinking about it, right, and then it goes to 3 inches, and then being pissed off about it, now it's 7 inches. You've created a monster out of nothing.
Your thoughts drive your emotions.
You would have been done with it already,
yep.
Right? It was like the 300 burpees I made Erica do this morning. Anyway, you were awesome. Anything else you want to say? Or
no.
Join the Army. Just join already.
I'm thankful for this opportunity. Like, just even sitting here right now just speaks to the opportunities that you can have if you join the Army. And my life wouldn't be what it is today if I hadn't made that decision. I don't regret it any day.
Yeah, if you join the Army and you're not happy, I'll give you your money back. That was awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
Joe, I have never seen you snap to attention like that.
No, she got me. I think we all wish we had one of the personal drill sergeants in our house.
It's funny, in psychology we call that a pattern interrupt. Something just snaps in, and the minute you have that, you're going to learn and remember what's happening next, because you're not in your usual just everyday state. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And she's just a plethora of wisdom. I mean, it was...
plethora.
I like that.
I like
all right,
it.
High five.
I like
and Johnny...
What is a plethora?
Johnny took notes.
I did take notes. You know why? Because this really, really resonated with me. There's just so many things. The idea about when you said, how long do you have to do this? She said, and I'm just thinking about where this all applies in life. We're not all drill sergeants, right? But the thing is, if you're just banging your head off the wall, Look,
three actually kind of definitely have some drill sergeant in you and your different roles.
But you look at what you're doing and you say, am I being effective? Like, do I need to change the way I'm doing this? Because if it takes too long, maybe you need to shift things up.
Well, let's rattle through the notes.
Well, a couple of things. When she talked about give people something they're likely to fail, and it's funny, I remember the first time I met you, I came down to Vermont to train for a death race, and you said we're going to flip this 200 or 300 pound tire up the mountain in Vermont in waist deep snow. But just so we don't have 5 of us working out, we're going to also pull a canoe full of 200 pounds worth of weight. Remember that night?
Yeah, I remember that night.
And it was the snow was wet, and we all come ready for freezing cold, so we're all like layered right up. And anyway, about halfway up the mountain, I thought, I get it. We can't do this. He just wants to see how far we're going to go, right? Now, ultimately, we did get that up there, but I love the way she said,
I think it's still
give them something so hard that they can't succeed, because that's where you're going to find out the character.
Exactly.
Right? And
exactly.
About a third of them quit.
Exactly. I remember digging you out of the snow that night.
Jeez, it was something. That was I've never been so hot when it's so cold. It's about 40 below and I was dying of heat.
But listen, anything worth doing, you're going to have a percentage of people that drop out, which is what she said.
100%. Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. And you find out who they are quickly.
And she says, anytime you're not moving towards your goal, or you said it, right? You're losing ground. Jocko Willink has a great thing he says about that. He's like, every second matters. And he's like, and that one, in that second that just passed, he's like, the seconds lead to minutes, which lead to hours, which lead to days, which leads to weeks. And you're either building.
Guess who said that before him?
Or you're either
Al
building
Pacino.
or decaying, right? You're either gaining ground or losing ground. I love that he said that. I mean, that's
Will it make the boat go faster? Every single decision we make.
Al Pacino said that first?
Al Pacino. There was a football movie, and it was
every inch claw for every
yeah,
inch.
I love that
Yeah,
speech.
those inches turn into feet.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh,
So
But with that, the idea about use every single thing. Like she talked about failure, and she talked about using failure. Like there are times you're going to fail, and how can you use that?
Learn from
how
it.
can you take that? I'm going to drop another death race example was 2012 when I didn't succeed. I took more out of that than the times I succeeded, and that's actually how you and I got close. Was the lessons I learned from that.
So I think you learn the most when you're up against the wall and it doesn't work out as planned, right? You
'Cause you remember
don't
it.
learn as much when things are easy.
Yeah,
Right. Well, you look at kids that were brought up never to be exposed to failure, or parents that coddled their kids. I know a lot.
Greatest track to failure.
Sorry. Hopefully people heard that. maybe.
Greatest track to failure is, right? Is
it's
preserving them and protecting them from failure.
Absolutely.
Kids are resilient. We talk about that a little bit with our.
Oh, for sure. But the thing is, the cultural drumbeat is find easy, find easy, find easy. Like everything's about how can you make things easier.
In our house.
Well, no, and it shouldn't
Not
be,
in the
right? Because
Spartan
that
kingdom.
teaches kids to be soft. I years ago I said, you know how you know that the tough thing is a good thing? They don't make statues for lottery winners. You know, they made a statue about Rocky for a reason
That's right.
because he
I like that.
ground
That's
out,
that's a really good line.
This episode of Spartan Up is brought to you by Athletic Greens. Ensure your body gets the nutrition it needs. Athletic Greens has an offer just for our listeners. Go to athleticgreens.com/Spartan to get a free box of 20 travel packets with your order, a $100 value.
Thanks for listening to another epic story of success. If you like our show, be sure to tell your friends about it. We want to hear from you. Just leave us a comment below if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening, go to Twitter and find us at Spartan Up Pod or Instagram at Spartan Up Podcast and let us know what you think. Then go subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you listen to our show. Spartan Up is brought to you by Spartan Race. To find a race near you, visit Spartan.com.
Is that acceptable?
Not for me, it's not acceptable.
She's laughing. Start screaming. Let's go.
Sorry. I did so much better in there.
I know, you were good.
It's the audience right here. People watching me.
Turn it on, turn it on, and I'll start over.
All right. And that's only 3. That was only 3. No, I'm not counting that one either.
Maybe this is a bad idea. Do not bring her to your house.